In a world full of noise, how do we hear the still small voice of God? Join us as we listen to the struggles, the profound joys, and the lived experiences of priests, religious, and married couples who heard a whisper and chose to follow it. You're listening to Echoing the Call.
Welcome to Echoing the Call, the podcast where we explore the beautiful, diverse vocations within the Catholic Church. I'm your host, Father Will Wainio, and today I'm joined by two of my dear friends, Paul and Maria Thrams. Paul and Maria, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for
having us, Will.
Oh, it's nice to be here. So let's talk about, we've been married pretty much a short time, almost 2 years?
No.
A little over a year.
Just a year.
A little over a year. I already butchered that. So tell us a little bit about your story. Let's start maybe where did you meet? How did that come about?
You want to do this
Paul,
one?
go ahead, Paul.
Okay. We met in high school. We both worked at this trampoline park, Sky Zone for the fans out there, and I thought she was really pretty. And my first conversation, I was in charge that day, which no way I should have been in charge that day. But I went up and checked on her and was like, "Hey, why'd you pick up that shift on Sunday?" And she was like, "Well, 'cause I don't want to go to church on Sunday." And I said, "I love church. Would you like to go to church with me?" Pretty much. And then, we went to church. And that was our first date. We went to church.
Your first date was at church.
Yeah.
Yes.
Church and then
How
Swenson's
wonderful.
for the people out there who love that too. Yeah.
Wow.
The classic.
Classic.
Yes.
So it started, so that was while you were in high school. You both went to Hudson High School.
No.
No.
I went to Hudson.
I went to Walsh Jesuit.
Oh, good Catholic school.
Yes.
Oh, good. So how we met, Paul and Maria and myself, was through the Newman Center at Kent State. So they're both from the Diocese of Cleveland, but we're stealing them away for this show today. So I guess another question that we have asked some of our couples on the show is, did you ever think of a different vocation other than, family and married life?
No.
Not really.
Yes. So if anyone knows, St. Mary's in Hudson is kind of famous for vocations and loves to put the pressure on the young folk to think about it. So I did go on a come and see. I went to the seminary. Actually, the person that I went on the come and see with is now the parochial vicar at St. Mary's in Hudson, ironically enough.
Nice.
Yeah, Father Nathan. But I went on a come and see. They were doing perpetual adoration that weekend, and I remember sitting in adoration and just praying and being like, "Is this for me?" And I remember I had this like very distinct image of like me holding a child, and that's actually what I wrote my entire college essay on.
Wow.
Was me holding a child and just having this like overwhelming feeling like that's what I was meant to do. And that's when I kind of like shifted focus, and I think it was literally 5 months later I met Maria.
So Maria, did you know about, that was part of the conversation, I would assume, in your dating relationship that Paul had thought about this before?
I was a little worried he was going to was going to become a priest.
Yeah, you were a little worried that relationship was going to end.
Yes.
And, so what, how did that kind of affect you? Was it weird? Was it odd?
I wouldn't say it was weird or odd. I would just say I was a little worried he would leave me to go become a priest, which I guess is better than him leaving me for someone else. But
True. If we're leaving someone we love for God, I guess it's a little easier than another relationship. So,
right.
Okay, so you met in high school, and what happened after high school? Where does the story continue?
Well, we were COVID graduates.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think that's an important detail because it definitely shifted. I almost went to actually Walsh U, in the Youngstown Diocese.
In Canton, okay, yeah.
We ended up still going to Youngstown Diocese with being in Kent, but I almost went to Walsh, and then I ended up going to Kent, which she also went to Kent. We went into the same major, which made life pretty simple.
Right.
And it kind of was like I had a best friend immediately, like freshman year of college when everyone else was stuck in their homes and didn't have anyone to talk to. I had like someone who I studied with and like.
So that freshman year of college was online? Was it virtual?
All
or
online.
All
online.
Completely online.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lived
so
in
you
a
didn't,
parents' basement type thing.
Wow. So you didn't even have that going to orientation and seeing a university and all
Right.
that. It was all virtual.
I didn't even know
Yeah.
the Newman Center had like anything going on at
Wow.
Kent at the time. Yeah, I mean, I knew it like existed because like my mom was like super active in the Newman Center at Akron when she went there, but I was like, oh, it's probably all closed. Apparently, they were doing virtual things. I wasn't
sure.
gonna go to that.
So you guys, I mean, your relationship was definitely strengthened by that first year of being in school, but kind of having each other to lean on and be supported by. And you had already dated how many years up until that point? 2 or 3?
But two?
2? Yeah.
2, yeah.
2 years.
So what was it like when you finally like got to Kent State, boots on the ground type of thing? Did it change your relationship? Did it affect it in any way?
Yes.
I would say.
They
I
definitely.
think meeting new people was a
Okay.
challenge.
Yeah.
People in the same major, study groups, things like that.
Yeah, I think of
clinical,
big transitions.
Trying to get like clinical placements and like us being at different places was a bit of a challenge, I would say.
So you guys are both nurses.
Mhm.
Right.
You were in the nursing program. Talk a little bit about once you did get physically to Kent State, how did the Newman Center play a part in your relationship with each other, but also maybe in your relationship with the Lord?
Yeah, I think that.
Well, I didn't even know a Newman Center existed
Okay.
until.
There's nothing wrong. We as a chaplain of a Newman Center, we talk about that, and we have talked about that a number of times, where people just don't really understand what it is or who it's for, and so don't feel bad. I mean, that's a thing. But so was it Paul that?
Well, it was
The bonfire.
yes, but what was that event? Like kickoff to the school year.
Oh,
or
like the welcome
something.
back barbecue
Yeah.
or
the Kent-
whatever.
No, it was
But like
the
Kent
Kent
State as a
thing.
whole was
Oh,
doing it.
yes.
You
And
remember
I
how you have
guess-
to? You remember doing that as a chaplain for the Newman Center in Kent.
Yes.
Yes.
Blast
the
off.
spin
Yes,
the wheel.
blast off. That's what it's called.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they, all the different clubs promote their stuff, and then Paul was like, "I really want to go to this Newman Center
I remember
bonfire."
Abby Mosbacher.
And then I said, "What is a Newman Center?" And then he was like, "Oh, it's like college campus ministry, basically."
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
And then we ended up there at the welcome back bonfire.
It was like the
called?
blast off bonfire.
Something like that.
But
yeah.
it was, I remember like we had to spin the wheel or whatever, and Abby Mosbacher was running it, and she's a wonderful Catholic woman, married with a kid now, and also a nurse, and she was like, oh, you guys have to come to the bonfire, you have to come to the bonfire. So we went to the bonfire, and then I met one of my closest friends, his name is Jacob Cook, and I'm actually in his wedding in like a month or two, and he was in my wedding last year, and met him, and we started really hitting it off, and they were like, you guys, you gotta meet this guy, you gotta meet this priest, this young dynamic priest that they just brought in. His name's Father Chad Johnson. And I had heard about him from a Cleveland priest named Father Pat Anderson, who's the Dean of Men at the seminary right now, actually, but he was a parochial vicar at St. Mary's when I was there. And apparently, Father Pat Anderson had told Father Chad that his job was to get me to go to the seminary.
Okay. So there was that undercurrent that
Yes.
you had kind of moved on from that. You had discerned well, as I would say, and kind of knew what God was calling you to. But there was still people behind the scenes that were trying to, make the waters flow a different way.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
So.
But I think that was a big benefit, actually, because then, I did get pretty close to Father Chad, and he became kind of my personal spiritual director, and then the person that I would have theological questions for, because wicked smart. Like he can answer all the tough theology questions that I don't know how to answer to my friends that are like, you're on a college campus and you're getting asked, well, why do you believe that? And I'm like, I should probably know that.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So he was good for that, and then I was like, hey, my girlfriend would be interested in doing kind of couples guidance, spiritual direction with you, and for 3 years he did that with us. And
so the Newman Center was a lot more than just Mass on Sundays or daily Mass.
Right.
Absolutely.
It was a community that you really found a place in that was kind of, I don't know, a step out of the academic sense of college.
Yeah.
In the secular sense, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
true.
Right.
So did you grow clearly Paul liked it. Did you grow to kind of feel a part of that community after you figured out what it was?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where we met, of course.
Yes.
Years later, you were both graduated from Kent and already working in your respective fields as nurses, and we had a young adult
You were doing
event.
a young adult night
Yeah.
or something.
And I had known Paul a little bit through Father Chad because I had been there to the Newman Center
Pumpkin carving.
to judge the pumpkins, and
You didn't give me very high ratings.
your pumpkin wasn't very good.
Well, I just think you just didn't see the beauty in the stained glass window I tried to make.
Tried to make, yeah. That tried to make being
That's
the
the
key
key
word.
word, yeah.
So as young adults in the church, and now married young adults, which in the second half of our show I want to talk about the engagement, the wedding, and all that jazz. But as married young adults in the church, what's a piece of advice that you would give to maybe other young adults that are dating, and then maybe, again, young adults that are married? What advice would you give them maybe on practicing their faith while still exploring their career, or trying to be career oriented? I mean, what have you found works, and what's important?
You want to go first?
I don't know. Go ahead.
I think for me, the most important thing is I am very career oriented and driven, and I do plan to progress my career, but I think your faith at the end of the day is more important than all of that. If you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, nothing else is going to matter. And even if I am shooting for some very big career career goals and everything, even if I fail at all of them, at the end of the day, I still remember that I'm a beloved son of the one true King. And I think there's also an element of I have surrounded myself with other great young adults, and I think that's the most important thing, is having that deep root community of people who are also discerning marriage, also young married couples, right? I have a lot of people who are getting married this year in my life that are good and upright Catholics, and I just that's the greatest gift.
Yeah, it's an important part of your life.
Yeah.
And how I know that you guys are part of a young adult group.
Mm-hmm.
How is that important? Surrounding yourself, like you had mentioned, surrounding yourself with other people that are, again, career-oriented, but still want to practice their faith, want to make time for the Lord. Would you recommend, I guess, to other young adults that that's a good idea to find that community and be a part of it?
I think you kind of have to curate it, It's one thing I would love to see growth in Cleveland and in Youngstown, I'm sure, but is young adult ministry. It is chronically the overlooked thing because everybody thinks, you go through middle school ministry, you go through high school ministry, and then you have Newman Centers, or you have, St. Paul's Outreach or whatever, if you go to Ohio State, they all like to talk about.
Yeah.
And then you get out, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's just nothing. And a lot of times it's your high school minister is the guy reaching out to you, and he's trying, but at the end of the day, it's not young adult ministry. So I think, you have to look for the groups that exist, and then you just need to try to strengthen and bolster them as much as possible.
Yeah. Maria, what do you think? I mean, your faith clearly, has not always been as strong as Paul's, and that's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. But you also found it important to, I mean, your faith has been a part of your relationship since day one. I mean, is it still an important part even today, a year and a few months into your marriage?
Yeah, I would say.
And how does that look on a day-to-day basis? I mean, clearly you guys are very busy with work and everything. You're not making it to Mass every day, but I mean, what does that look like in your relationship, the faith and the spiritual life, maybe at home?
Well, we go to church together on Sundays when we can, because Paul works the weekends. And we try and make it a priority to pray every night.
Okay,
as
pray
well.
together.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And I think, that's another piece that I think we should encourage young couples, young adults, that daily prayer, even if it's only a few minutes, is so important, not only to strengthen your relationship with each other, but also your relationship with the Lord. And as Paul mentioned, I think that, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think you would both agree that putting Christ at the center of your life and at the center of your married life together is really beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
especially with what you do. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, in the nursing industry, working in the hospital as Paul does, and you see a lot of lives upset, and you know, a lot of death at times, and to just know that there is a life after this, and to keep your faith strong is really important. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the engagement period and the wedding, which I was privileged to be at. There's a picture we'll show you. So we'll talk about that, but we're going to take a break, and I invite you all now to join Bishop Bonner in the diocesan prayer for vocations.
Most generous Father, pour out your grace upon us and bless the Church of Youngstown with a renewed spirit of faith, hope, and love in you, calling forth from our families and parishes willing and worthy servants as priests, deacons, religious sisters and brothers, and holy husbands and wives. Open the hearts of your faithful that they may listen for and courageously respond to your will. May they come to behold their giftedness and to embrace the mission of the gospel. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
We're back again with my dear friends Paul and Maria, and we want to talk about where this whole married life started. So let's talk about the day you got engaged. And Maria remembers it fondly.
Of course.
Tell us the story. How did that happen? How did Paul pop the question?
Well, I really wanted to get engaged before the end of college. So I kind of knew it was going to happen before then, and if it wasn't, that was going to be an issue if it didn't. So it was a random day in February, and the weather was very nice, like 60s.
Okay.
And sunny and no snow. So it was very nice. And what did your friends were like, we're going to go out for this birthday dinner at this really nice restaurant. And who was it even for? Oh,
it was Jacob.
Jacob's girlfriend at the
earlier
time.
mentioned Jacob.
Now,
okay.
fiance. It was for her birthday dinner,
Okay.
and really fancy place, but on like a Monday night or something. And, you know, they were like, we got to dress up, and they made this group chat with a bunch of people I didn't know, and they were saying like what they were going to wear and everything, like everybody who was supposed to go to this dinner. So then Paul said he was going to pick me up, and he drove me to St. Mary's because they have a little grotto there, and he had said before that's where he was going to propose. And so he drove me to St. Mary's, and I was like, oh, it's happening. And then he parked in the parking lot and was like, let's pray. And then I was like, oh, okay. So then we did that, and then he drove away, and I was like, oh, so it's not happening. And then he drove me to like this little
So
park.
you prayed in the grotto area or in the
I think
church?
we just stayed in the car.
Honestly,
Okay, you were in the parking lot.
We were in the
very
parking
late.
lot.
We were very late.
To the dinner.
Yes, to this dinner.
Okay,
To
so
the
you're in the
dinner.
parking lot and you prayed in the car, and then he drove away.
Correct.
So in your
then I was
mind,
like,
you're thinking, oh, not happening today.
Let's go to this
he's just being
dinner.
weird.
Yeah. And then he drove me to this other park that I had never been to before. And it had like this little like
Gazebo type thing.
yes, gazebo, and Jacob and his girlfriend were there. And they had it all set up all nice and with like candles and flowers and like notes that he had written to me over the past, like, I think we'd been dating 6 years at that point.
Yeah.
That we got engaged, so letters over the past 6 years, and he played his song or whatever, and then he proposed.
So
And
were
then I cried.
Were you expecting
Oh
that?
no, you were crying before that.
I actually, oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, when you pulled up to this
When
gazebo
he
and
pulled
saw...
up, yeah, when he pulled up,
When we
what did I
turned-
say?
When we turned, you said, I knew it, and then you started sobbing.
Yes, that was right.
And then I couldn't get you out of the car for a while.
And then you were like, you ready? And I was like, no.
Wow. So, like, was your family aware that this was happening?
I think they knew. He had asked my parents like a couple weeks
Sure. But I mean, they
prior?
weren't there like hiding in the
No,
bushes or
no,
something.
no.
The park I picked was like 3 minutes from my grandma's house, because my parents have always told the story about how the first person they told was my mom's grandma, and my nana always got a little annoyed by that she wasn't the first person who found out. So for ours, I made it a priority that right after we went over and we showed her, and her reaction was actually it was the best one of the. It was amazing. She just started crying. Was like, I've been praying for this for years. And
So Paul, why not at St. Mary's in the grotto? Like, was that just to throw Maria off a little bit?
You know,
or?
I think
I
if
think I had
done
made a
it
big
there,
deal about it.
Yeah, I think if I had done it there at that point, she would have been like, so generic, because she knew it was coming. So I feel like I had to do something.
And he had
different.
mentioned that before, like in the grotto. But yeah.
And the grotto is gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
I mean, we took wedding photos there, so like
is.
clearly we do love it, but I just think it would have been. I also don't think I would have felt as comfortable trying to put like, you know, my letters out and like candles out or anything and do anything, because it's at the end of the day
Plus,
worship
like,
space.
people do show up there.
Yeah,
at
place
random
to pray.
times, so. That
So,
was also a
so
risk.
you know, this engagement happened. Was there ever really a dinner that night, or that was just a ploy?
We did go to dinner.
Yeah.
With
that whole group of people.
No,
that were,
just the couple that helped.
Oh,
with the
okay.
engagement,
So
yes.
the group text with what everyone's
was totally
wearing.
fake.
That was
Yes.
actually all of Emily is her name. All of Emily's like
Siblings.
and friends who like just threw their stuff in there and were trying to like
Throw me off.
It was pretty clever on her
It
part.
was, yeah.
Yeah.
So how long was it between engagement and the wedding?
16 months.
Okay, so you got married the next year.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so we were engaged for a year.
A little over a year.
I've known you for probably 2 years now, and I'm willing to bet money on the fact that during the process of preparing for the wedding, Paul, his best answer was, "Whatever you want, dear." Is that true?
To an extent.
To an extent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At first,
I'm
it was
pretty
probably
sure.
like,
I'm
how
pretty
much
sure.
does it cost?
The
and
first
then
question was always, how much money is it?
yeah.
Then the answer would be,
Okay, whatever
okay,
you want.
but make it cheaper.
Okay.
We can do anything you want, but just keep it in the budget.
And it was important
Didn't
to.
stay in the budget.
It didn't stay in the budget.
No.
But it was important to both of you that your marriage would be sacramental and it would
Absolutely.
happen
Yeah.
in church
Yeah.
at St. Mary's in Hudson, where you
Right.
both belonged as
And the first date was
teens.
there.
Right, your first date was there at Mass, but you both kind of belonged there as teenagers. Even you went to different high schools, but you belonged to St. Mary's. What was that day? I mean, I'm sure you have fond memories of that day. I do. What was that day like for both of you?
The wedding day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
Go ahead.
Really? Okay. I don't know. The lead-up process was I would say amazing, and also the worst thing ever. She's a bridezilla. She'll admit it now.
Yeah, for sure.
And there were definitely a couple bad conversations, but I think, you know, doing true pre-Cana, having like your 6 months where you meet once a month was super beneficial, because even when, you know, the flowers or, you know, the centerpiece or the napkins aren't right, like all that stuff got put on hold for like a couple hours, and you were like, all right, let's take a step back and let's actually talk about like, how are we doing as a couple and how are we doing in our faith?
Right.
And, you know, we were blessed to have Father Chad do pre-Cana with us, and at the time, seminarian Arthur Bodenschatz, and I believe now he is Deacon
yeah.
Arthur Bodenschatz.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deacon Arthur. We're blessed to have both of them there, and have just great, you know, mentor priest around, like you and from Cleveland, Father Mike McCandless and Holy Family. And then because of that, you know, we had all three of these priests at our wedding, and Arthur was serving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just made it so much more beautiful getting this. And our music ministers were also a married couple that we look up to, and Dr. John and Carmen. So
Yeah, I was just actually going to bring that up. I think, you know, in planning your wedding, you definitely put a lot of thought into who would be there and the ministries that they would serve. I mean, yeah, Dr. John and Carmen Repke, whom you'd met at the Newman Center, did the music. You know, you had all three of these priests there that at some point in your life were very impactful, or, I mean, we're still friends to this day, and I'm thankful for that. And then, of course, Arthur and even some of the other servers were just friends that maybe were discerning or still are their call, God's call in their life. But, the other thing that I was really touched by, before the rehearsal, the night before the wedding, we gathered for a holy hour at St. Mary's. Talk about that. Where did that idea come from?
I think that was one of Paul's top 3 things I require for this wedding.
Okay, all right.
And that was
so what were
definitely
the
one
other
of them.
2?
What were the other 2? I don't even remember.
Oh,
they all happened. I know that.
Okay, so
whatever it was.
he got his top 3 things,
Yes,
and
yes,
you
and
got
I got
your...
a million other
They were all
things, so.
related to the ceremony itself. So
Yes, they were. Yeah.
I think it was, to have the ministries be handpicked, like...
Oh, he was going to pick the readings or something?
Yes.
Because that was important to him.
Hard on Ephesians being in your wedding. If you understand Ephesians, it is the most beautiful, beautiful passage.
Keyword being if you understand.
If you understand
That's a whole nother episode.
And if you don't understand it, ask Father.
Yeah, that's a whole nother
Father Chad will
episode.
give you a great
That's a whole
explanation.
nother
But
episode
it's-
of the podcast.
Yes, that was it, yeah.
No, I think
Right.
that again, and I think it goes to show you that, Paul, in your life, you did discern well, and to know that, God wasn't calling you to the priesthood, to be a spiritual father, but was calling you to be a husband and hopefully one day a biological father. And I think you never let that go, even in planning your wedding. You wanted to make sure that, you picked the readings and you had priests that were impactful in your life there, and, the holy hour, which I think was a shock to some people, but I thought it was, what a great idea,
I wanted to enter marriage completely clean is how I viewed it. So, it was very important to me that, we both did confession before we entered the sacrament of marriage, because, you should enter completely pure.
Yeah.
Receive Eucharist that day completely pure. Obviously, that's the only way you should receive Eucharist. And then, you enter your marriage completely sinless. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I think it's
Right.
just a beautiful thing. Again, your wedding was kind of more than just it was more than just the average sacramental wedding of people are like, oh, we'll get married in church. There was a lot of thought put into it, and I think that really goes to show for both of you, just how important your faith and God is in your lives, In the last few minutes that we have here with the show, what's a piece of advice you'd give to a couple getting ready for their wedding? Maybe they're getting married in church, or maybe they're not.
Yeah.
What's a piece of advice that you would give them?
You're the DIY queen, so...
don't- Well, I think it's more like relationship.
Yeah, but... I feel like how you planned a wedding was, pretty extravagant and pretty great, so...
Stressful.
Stressful. How did you not, so it's stressful. How did you not let that just take over?
Well, it kind of did.
Okay.
The honesty is great, right?
It is. Well, I said, there's no posed questions here. It's just a show that is very organic. And,
Yeah.
so, clearly you didn't let the stress overtake you, though. You're married and happily today. What was one of the things, what was one of the things that helped you get through all those stressful moments of planning a wedding?
And I don't even know.
You don't even
You don't remember?
No.
I feel like there were like things we did that like helped us like keep on track, and like I don't know.
I didn't have a planner, so
That was probably a bad decision.
that.
But I feel like no, there were many times we would like. It was like kind of just leaning on each other. I think would be the thing. Like even when there'd be some pretty bad fights about like this is just outrageously expensive. We cannot do that, and like because that's honestly all the fights ever were about with the wedding was just like I just can't wrap my head around paying $7,000 for flowers. Like that's it just doesn't work and doesn't compute up here.
Yeah.
But I think it was just like remembering like, look, I love you, you love me. At the end of the day, it's one day, and when that day came, I think we both did do a great job of just. She had, the most planned wedding you've ever seen. I mean, the photographer actually said she ran out of poses. She ran out of ideas. But just letting go.
I think Paul helped in, like, if I couldn't think of something, I would ask Paul to kind of research something or think of an idea, and I think that also helped.
So you really did it together. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the wedding of your dreams,
Yeah,
but you
For
did
sure.
it together.
Yeah.
right. Or if I had
And-
an idea and I'd be like, how would you execute that? And you come up with something.
Yeah.
But just have fun on the day of. You
Yeah.
can't. Things are gonna go wrong. You're gonna look back at it and probably be like, yeah. that
None of
could've
us are
been better.
perfect.
But at the end of the day, I wouldn't change a single thing about it. It was the most fun day of my entire life, head to toe.
Well, right before I walked down the aisle, I sobbed. I was by myself. I was standing by myself.
Why did you cry?
Because it was just overcome with emotion. Like, this is it. This is finally happening.
Yeah.
And the one of the wedding coordinators at the church took that picture of me, and so.
Of you crying.
Yeah.
Do we have that picture?
I think I was
Is it
like
Mayor
smiling,
Doman?
crying.
Is it Mayor
but
Doman?
Do we have that
I
picture?
do not have that picture.
Oh, I was going to say if we had it, we could have thrown it into the
Yes.
show. I want to thank my friends Paul and Maria for being here. And if you are looking for more information about the Office of Vocations, our podcast, or your own discernment in life, please visit our website at www.doypriesthood.org. For Echoing the Call, I'm Father Will Wainio. God bless you.
Echoing the Call is a production of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Youngstown. It is brought to you by the Annual Diocesan Appeal, the Catholic Communication Campaign, and the Office of Vocations. Thank you for listening, and God bless.